I at one point in time for sure needed validation from people. I think we all do. We all kind of need to see how people view us so we can, formalize like some sort of like persona for ourselves. But man, there was one pivotal point in 2020 where it was like a few months and like everything, like so many things were just like taken away. Like I had a nicer car, it got totaled, shorty T-boned me, completely 86th, and then like got laid off from work because of COVID. Me and my girl at the time broke up. There was just like so much shit. And I had like an injury in the gym, so I wasn't able to like work out and like everything.
It's the worst.
Dude, everything that gave me fucking confidence in my life like was like taken away.
What up, everybody? Rob Jackson. I'm here with my boy Danny. We're gonna be giving you guys some content, some value. On my voice, it might not sound the best right now, so please bear with me. Be patient. But make sure y'all tune in, make sure y'all take notes, and make sure y'all share this. Another episode of Adversity Kings. We're going to wrap with Danny here and just kind of just jump right in. So, Danny, thank you for obviously being with us and kind of taking your time out of your day to come add value to us. If you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit on what it is that you do, what you're involved in. I know you're involved in a couple different things. You have a couple different talents. So if you want to kind of go on yourself, just jump right in and kind of give us a little background on yourself.
Yeah, man. First of all, thank you for having me, bro. Hopefully you can hear me pretty well. This is super sick. So Danny Tayz. Oh no, I think this camera's my camera right here. Danny Tayz. I'm a man of many things, I feel, but for the most part, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like a visionary is the best way to put it. I don't even like saying creative or like entrepreneur because I feel like you have the vision of, like, you know how it is. Like, you pretty much all of your actions in your day-to-day life are directly intentional to the result of how you want to live your life, essentially. And I feel like you're a visionary. Like, your vision is why you are existing, essentially. So, like,
it's huge.
Dude, it's like real shit, man. But I'm a musician. I've been rapping for like fucking 17 years at least.
Let's go. How old are you?
27.
27, bro. Come on.
I'm doing it for
Lil Wayne out here, bro.
Grip, bro.
Since you're a kid.
Yeah. And music is my life, but I got to make this money. So between like in the hospitality industry, like I've been bartending for a while at some of like the nicest bars like in the Midwest, you know what I'm saying? Some of the nicest bars in Chicago. Digital marketing, website building, SEO, all that fun stuff for people, small business owners. But yeah, and just trying to like maneuver and grow and just become a better man, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and we're going to dive into all that as well and kind of branch off on that. But just to start off with what you said at the beginning, and I think that's a big thing. Like a lot of people in life, whether they're in business or just in life in general, whether that is they leave college, they graduate high school or whatever the case may be, most people don't have a vision of where they want to go. Man. You know what I mean? Like you said, like you're intentional. Everything that you do is to get to that vision, right?
Absolutely.
So, and you'll notice the greatest people on earth, like when they're going through hard times, when somebody's facing adversity, their vision is what keeps them going. So if you could like touch on that, like one, how did you find your vision at such a young age, knowing kind of what you wanted to go in a path you wanted to take? And number two, how did you establish a plan daily of being intentional to get to that vision at the end of the road?
Man, that's a sick ass question. I feel like so at a young age, so I grew up, so I was born in Riverside, California, right? And then my family moved to Virginia, and then we moved to Indiana. And I've been in Chicago for about 3 years, a little over 3 years now, right? When I was 13, my parents, they got divorced, and after that, my life was just fucking weird as shit. Like, just like a lot of the first big challenges that I ever experienced was like at a pretty young age, like 13-ish, maybe 12-ish. And I grew up like super religious and like just like a crazy fucking backstory. But after a while, I just realized like, damn, like I have to like fend for myself. Like at 14, from then on, it was just like provide for yourself and figure it the fuck out, right?
Wow.
And so I didn't have like, I feel like a lot of people had a specific like high school life, right? And then they go to college and then they get jobs and they have like this certain like life. But I was like always like the fucking like oddball out, like the black sheep, you know what I'm saying? Like instead of like doing sports and everything, I was skating and like smoking weed and rapping and like that's all I wanted to fucking do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And after a while I was like, damn, like what do I actually like want? because I feel lost. And this was around like probably like 19 to like 21. I was going through like I'm lost, like that whole like phase of my life. And then I was like, look, I want to live in a certain place where I can grow and I can experience things. And I feel like the more unconventional path is like what I find pleasure in. And I like to be pushed. I like to be challenged. I like to just jump into the fire. Like there's a challenge, or like I do this thing where it's like, if I feel like a bitch, I have to do it.
Yep.
Like if it's something that like, I'm like, it's a move I know I need to make, and I feel like scared, I'm like, oh, you have to do it, because like,
oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna like wake up the next day or go to sleep feeling like, damn, I should fuck that shit, dude. Are you kidding me? I'd rather die, honestly. Like I just jump into it, just try it out. You have one life, you know what I'm saying? It's like a video game. It's, if you don't want to try to like achieve that level, then what's the, like, your character will never fucking like evolve, you know what I'm saying? And so like going back to the question, I feel like it was just because like I really didn't have an option other than growth. It was either growth or like, I've had like a lot of depression, so not to get too dark, but like I've contemplated suicide I don't even know how many times. And because of my desire to, you know, retire my mom and like do a lot of things in my personal life, that's like what keeps me like going. It's like I don't have an option. You have to figure it out. It's just like failure is not an option, because failure isn't part of my programming. You know what I'm saying? It's like learning. And it's like, this is just part of the process. I'm supposed to take L's. I'm supposed to fuck up, you know. There's really no other. This is just what it is. This is just how I perceive life. I just perceive life like you're just gonna go through it, and you have your goal. And like I think the goal part of like how you even know what your goal is, man, you have to have a lot of pain. You have to have a lot of adversity. You have to have a goal that's so big that people tell you like, is that feasible? You know, like you have to have something that's really fucking like challenging, like, physically and mentally and like spiritually challenging. And what I do, I find the end goal, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want my life to be. And so since I already know the end goal, a lot of stress off being lost is gone, because I already know where I'm going to end up. And so now it's like, okay, so what do I have to piece now to get there? And then every day you're just getting 1% better. The goal never fucking changes. My goal hasn't changed since I was 14. You know what I'm saying? But like the pieces of it is like, okay, I have to learn a lot of things. I have to become a different person. I have to fucking like learn new skills. I have to change my beliefs. I have to develop so many things. But the end goal is not going to change. The journey to get there is going to be a fucking wild ass ride, right? But the end goal will never change. You know, and I feel like having a direction is what people struggle with, because there's so many options, there's so many opportunities and shit. But it's like, what do you want? Like, what actually makes you like happy type shit?
1000%.
You know. So I feel like, yeah, I think in a very exaggerated, a lot of word way to answer the question, that's what it is, man. At least for me, you know.
Well, a lot of things that you had said in there, man, that was huge, because one, if you really study like successful people and great people in life, it's number one is like they've been through a lot of shit. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? A lot of adversity. I personally believe that as a man, your level of value mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally determines from the amount of suffering that you take on in your life, you know? Mm-hmm. So like at our agency, we're a big believer, mind, body, spirit, right? So you wake up early in the morning, you hit the gym, you read, you know, develop your spirit, right? Every morning before anyone wakes up, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you smash the rest of your day, right? So you're pouring into yourself, number one, but you're also you're causing yourself to suffer immediately. You're waking up and doing what you don't want to do, which is causing yourself to suffer, because that way, whenever those pains and those adversities that you face in your life come to you, now you can handle them with a smile, and you'll never lose sight of that vision, right? So that's huge right there that you mentioned that. And then you sounds like you kind of had to grow up fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you kind of had to go through life. And like you said, man, I think that's everybody. Like, I think everybody gets to a point in their life where they might feel lost. They might feel like they don't know what they want to do. And that's what I never understood, is like, how can somebody drift through life? Mm-hmm. You know, like there's drifters, and then there's, like you said, visionaries, right? So how can you drift through life? And, you know, if you want to touch on that, man, like what advice, like how would you, you know, you're looking at you at 14, okay? You're 27 right now, right?
Yeah.
So you go up to you at 14 years old, and he's lost. You know, maybe you're not lost at 14, 19, 21, but you go up to yourself at 14 when you're going through the mist of this stuff, and you're going to guide your 14-year-old self to follow that dream, or, you know, drift off and kind of follow the crowd. Like, what would you say? What were some words, or how would you help that person get to to really chasing their vision.
Man, that's I love that that referencing. One of the things, now I'm gonna go back to your question. One of the things, you know Alex Hormozy, right?
Yeah, love Alex Hormozy. $100 million offers.
Dude, yes.
We got his book over here somewhere.
I read that. I listened to it twice. It's a fucking amazing book, right? But one of the things he said that's so similar to that is like what he'll do is like when he's like when you're at this current stage in your grind, right? Where you could be like me, 27, you could be younger, you'd be like 24, 21, 35, 40, whatever, right? Envision yourself like when you're stressing over everything. You're like, what do I do? Like I'm at such a interesting intersection of things happening in my life. What do I do right now? I need guidance, but I don't, necessarily have someone to talk to. You envision yourself as like an 80-year-old you, and you've already, or 90, whatever it is, but you see yourself as like, well, I've already achieved everything. Like, see yourself as completely content with your life and everything you want to do right now, you've already achieved it. Become that person, like really feel that energy, and then transform back to your current situation, being like you just got into a time machine, right? And now you're looking at yourself through your already successful version of you's eyes, and like you'll start to realize like how small of the issues are and how it kind of gives you the steps on what to do further. It's like, what would the person that already accomplished this do?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So going back to your point, what I would tell 14-year-old myself, I mean, man, I don't really have any regrets when it comes. I think everything I did, I had to experience, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would just say, like, look, you got this shit. You might not feel like you don't got this shit, and there's a lot of shit that you're gonna go through a lot of fucking pain. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go through a lot of struggle, but it's like good. It's like good shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And eventually, it doesn't look like it now, 14-year-old Danny, but eventually you're going to like desire that shit. You're going to like you're going to like seek it out. You're going to seek out not like fights, but like fights with the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I become better? How can I get punched in the face a little bit so I can become stronger? I want to be callous. I want to be callous as fast as fucking possible so I can become who I want to be. There's no shortcut. But the only thing that could be a shortcut, I feel, is like just like jumping into the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, that's so fire that you just said that, because 100%, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, if I could get all the adversity in the first 2, 3, 4 years, let me get all of it.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck for those 4 years, but I'll take all the adversity. And that's the thing about, like, even if you look at success on an aspect of like money, right? Mm-hmm. On an aspect of your mental state. Like, even like if you're around somebody successful, there's a reason that like somebody walks in the room, and let's say they're a billionaire, right? Mm-hmm. And they walk into the room. There's a different energy. Like, you don't even have to be looking at the person. And if they're a billionaire and they walk in the room, you're going to feel them behind you. You know what I mean? And it's the different energy because the mental state that they're at, the emotional state that they're at. And it's not for all of them, obviously, but for most of them that have been through the shit and built it from the ground up, like you're talking about, and that's because of what they went through. Like, the adversity and the suffering that you go through life truly teach you the best lessons. Like, I am extremely, and I didn't even go through too many hard times growing up, more or less just in this business. Yeah. We had hard times in this business, especially moving out here and building this office. It was a little harder than we were used to. But, I'm so grateful for it, man. I'm so grateful for the lessons, for the adversity, because it allowed me to think the way that I do now. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens. You level up in life. Now, it's crazy you said that, and that'll be a follow-up question for you is like, if you want to kind of go off on and branch off on this, but like most people, the difference that I've heard is like a lot of people, like Alex Hormozy, I watch a lot of Alex Hormozy, a lot of people are different because Alex Hormozy, he's the type of guy that if he goes through something in life, some adversity, he's going to take and extract the lessons from it and use it as fuel to get better and improve and see where he could go wrong. Where somebody else, Joe Schmo, whoever, might take that same adversity and destroy himself and handicap himself and drown himself and victimize with it. They think it's a sign or some
shit like, oh, this must be a sign that like, man, nothing's a fucking... Yeah. I say to myself, I'm like, everything's a sign and nothing's a sign.
Yep.
It's all like fucking perception. I think like what Alex does is like something I like, like how you like will read these like books or like listen to podcasts and it'll be from these hyper successful people that you want to be like, and the whole time you're listening to it, you're like, it's more of just like reassurance of your own like mindsets from things you already fucking thought, you know what I'm saying? You're not there yet, but you fucking like think it. Man, when at a young age, I was I would just get like, it'd be like relationships, like getting like your heart broken, or like fucking like some job bullshit happens, or like life shit happens, like some like real shit that like is those like pivotal moments. And I was like, man, I've had some fucked up shit happen. And like in those moments, I remember vividly being able to like mentally tell myself, okay, like this is gonna suck. I would always say this is gonna suck, but it's not gonna be permanent. So what am I supposed to learn from this? Because I can just learn from it right now and it hurts. It'll be fucking a lot less of a
huge.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want that shit to like be weeks of me feeling this shit, bro. Like my last relationship, bro, I broke up with Shorty, and yeah, I hope she's doing well. You know, if you listen to this. But as soon as it happened, I was just like, look, like, because you go through like breakups, right? And people will be like, damn, I'm so sorry for that. Damn, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for that. It's like, I'm fine. Like I can choose not to feel this feeling for that long. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to be heartbroken. I don't have to be sad. I can say like, look, it didn't work because of this. I accept it. And then within 24 hours, I'm just like
100%.
fucking ready to grind and do my shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think people need to understand the power that they have mentally where it comes to like, you can make just tiny little decisions, like for the 4 agreements, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have things that you have been that have been sewn into your DNA, almost like your mental DNA, and you have to unlearn these things and then just tell yourself other things, convince yourself of other values and laws that you can then replace it with that are more productive, right? And so I feel like I've learned that. I love doing that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like really like testing like your mental capabilities. But I think people need to understand like you can just tell yourself to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like there's no rules to this life shit. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like for real, like nothing's gonna come fast. So just accept that. Just accept it's not gonna be fast, but accept it's fucking possible.
Yeah.
And if it's possible, then fucking do it if you want to do it, you know?
100%. That's huge, man. And that's huge that you recognize that at a young age, because most people don't. Most people don't see that. And like if you really like, if you could really study, like, and I always said this, like I think the world's problems would be solved if you could see what's like someone's head, like if you could read their mind, right? And that's what I want to get into next for you, bro, is kind of talk about your self-talk, right? So a lot of people, they struggle with self-talk, you know, all day. Like let's say, you know, you're fat, right? Somebody that might be a little fatter might walk around shaming themselves all day about the way they look. Somebody that's broke in their head all day. Oh, dude, you're broke. You're like just running a train on their mind with these negative self-talk thoughts until they subconsciously create a negative individual that they don't want to be. And now they're uncomfortable in their own skin, don't know who they are. They go downhill spiral from there. Man. How do you adjust the self-talk when you start to go down that path? How would you adjust your self-talk? Because you're right, we have a lot of control over our mind, and our mind is pretty much the only thing we have control of.
Absolutely. Man, I think really what it is accepting that you're not perfect and accepting that, man. So like, you know, I'll talk to people, right? And the conversations will go to like, what type of books do you read? And I feel like when it comes to that, it's almost like, are you into astrology type of thing? Like it's one of those like ideals that's where you can kind of tell who a person is, you know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of read the room pretty fast when it comes to that. And so like when someone asks me like, what type of books are you into? And I'm like, I'm into like self-help books and like wealth building books and yada yada yada. And they're like, I hate those books. I'm only into like fantasy, sci-fi, all that shit. And like, which is cool. Like reading is great, you know, but that's also a personality thing where it's like, are you willing to accept that you have to build yourself to become a better person because you're not that good right now? Like, are you accepting to understand like you're shitty? Like one of the things that like I say to people is like, I'm a big supporter of the message of you're not special. And it's like, I have to like elaborate on it, but every time I say it, they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no one's special. Like no one has inherent things that make them more valuable than another person. So you can, I mean, obviously you can say like, well, LeBron James is fucking like 7'18", whatever, but it's like, okay, if that's where you find your value in being like tall and being specifically like a professional basketball player, you have to accept what you have and accept that they have what they have and they still have their fucking bullshit, right? But I say like no one's special, including myself, because I don't want to be special. Because if I have to be the special one, then I have a burden of living up to people's, you know, like their expectations and their interpretation of me and like all this shit, right? Let's just say we're all even. Billionaires, homeless people, everyone's the fucking same, right? And so knowing that means like, okay, so me being fat, me being not good in school, me being this, that, or whatever it is, I can improve upon myself because now I want to. So now it's like the whole mentality thing of like the negative self-talk is kind of quieting because you have you have the complete control to change your situation. You know, I feel like knowing you have control, having control is a big thing. Like some people in like relationships in life, business, like the managers, like they want to have so much control, they'll micromanage everybody, right? In relationships, you'll have the overpowering spouse person because they want to control it. But it's like, can you control your life? Can you control your actual circumstance? Can you control your future? Like that's more, most people avoid that because it's such a heavy topic. But diving into that, understanding that gives you so much more freedom, so much more clarity, so much more peace because you're like, I'm responsible for everything. If I fail, I'm responsible. And if I win, I'm responsible. But either way, it's like, it's all me. Like no one can control if I want to lose weight, I can lose weight. You know, if I want to gain weight, I can gain. You can do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the freedom and the power and like accountability and just knowing like we're all the same at the end of the day.
That's huge. That's huge, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. It's like crazy because like you're saying the things that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I can kind of like say what you're gonna say next. So it's just crazy that you have that type of mindset because like I wouldn't. Like if I didn't find this business and I didn't have the mentors that I had in this business, like Tristan, like Simon, like those individuals, like this is hours a day that they spend learning, developing, and reinforcing this mindset every single day to look for any nook and cranny that they can get better at, that they can learn on, 1%, like you said, compound interest, right? Mm-hmm. So if I didn't have the mentors, I would have never thought this way. I would have never had this mindset developed. Now I feel like it saved my life because I was lost before I found this, you know? But it's just crazy that you can, not that you obviously worked and kind of did stuff, but the fact that you learned this on your own and your perception is just impressive to me that because I meet a lot, like 90% of the world every day, and it's like they're drifting by life.
Yeah.
They don't even think for themselves, or they're just doing subconscious things, not thinking like, or they're negative. One little thing, somebody cutting them off could set them off, or they don't stop to really think about things. They don't think to get better. They don't realize the habits that they have, and for you to have this mindset, bro, it's like, this should be the mindset that's more common, but it stands out. You know, you meet somebody with this mindset and people start to hate on them. They start to get uncomfortable. They start to hate on them, you know? So it's kind of crazy to me that you learned that mindset through just going through the trials of life, man. And it's a lot of respect because that shows you've been through a lot. So most people just can't understand or fathom what you've actually been through, you know?
Yeah, man.
People always talk like LeBron James or Alex Hormozi, you know, people want what you want. Or want what you are and want what you have, but are they willing to do what you did?
Exactly.
What you go through, what you went through. So that's impressive there, bro. And then what about your personal life? Like closest kind of people in your life. And then if you want to touch on that and like how the support of the people or lack of support of the people around you had helped you get to where you are now.
Yeah, man. Damn. How old are you?
22.
You're 22. Damn, man. Hey, you're young. That's sick. Good for you. You're doing
Appreciate
great. Man, people, I think it took me a minute to really understand the value of having a community. You know, and that's something like I feel like I learned more recently than not. Because coming up, I was like being like kind of like the black sheep, and especially like maneuvering, like when you're like in your early 20s, like you are, you know, that's when I kind of got into like the hospitality industry, and then you really want to start like, you're thinking about like financial freedom. You're thinking about like, because I've been making music for so long. At that point, I was like, okay, I really need to commit to this. I need to do certain things that no one around me is doing because no one has my aspirations. So I isolated myself for like a pretty fucking long time. You know what I'm saying? And I had like friends, but very few people were on like my same mental like trajectory, let's say, you know? So I was always like in my head, but I was able to be like positively in my head, like very like having like good self-talk, not like locking myself in my room and like talking shit to myself all the time and then like spreading that. I've always been pretty good at like watching how I talk to myself because I have an idea of the type of man I want to be, you know what I'm saying? Like
it's hard to do, man. That's really hard to do.
It takes so much. And so that really, that came from like the self-obedience of like working out and like bodybuilding. So I've like done like a few like bodybuilding competitions and shit.
Oh, bro, come on.
Man, but it teaches you like when you're 22 years old, right? You're 22 and you have a bodybuilding competition.
That's me, bro. My fault. I got two phones. I I got 2 phones, man.
This man is busy, people. Let's all just accept this man is making moves. But when you're like 22, right, and you have like a bodybuilding competition coming up, right, and like I had a couple homies that are doing it with me, and you're like, I was like, you're bored, like no one's around you because like you don't want the influence of anybody else around you, and then there was this one night. This is a crazy fucking. This is crazy. So I think I was like 22 or 23, and I was a week out, and the week out before a bodybuilding competition is like gnarly as fuck. Like you're eating almost nothing. You're dehydrated as fuck. You just like kind of feel like shit, and like your mind, your mental state is just like all over the place. So I would still like be able to smoke weed and like not like binge eat. And there was this one night where I like smoked, and I had like a pack of Tic Tacs, right? And I just needed to quench this fucking like craving. Like I was fucking dying, and I had one Tic Tac, and then I ate the whole fucking thing of Tic Tacs. And then like I noticed like my fucking like veins were popping out and shit. I'm like, oh fuck, like this is probably too many calories. And so I ran like this was like midnight, and I ran like 5 miles around my neighborhood, just like burn that off.
Tic Tacs would be too many calories.
It probably wasn't, but it's just like that level of like fucking like
commitment.
Yeah, and like
crazy.
And like the disappointment and not like living up to your word and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge, man. That's crazy.
It's just that it's like that discipline. Like having that discipline to be unwavering it's something you have to learn, and I think that's a big reason why this certain like powerful mental state of just like hyper focus is so difficult for people because of the sacrifice you have to make to achieve it long term, right? There's gonna be so many things you want to do, and we kind of like nowadays we let our wants outweigh our needs. Like, well, I want to do this, so I'm gonna do it. Or I want to buy this car, so I'm gonna buy this car. I want to like go out, so I'm gonna go out. It's like you're going to wake up the next morning, maybe you spend a little bit too much money, or maybe like this was a bad investment or whatever it is, but people's wants are so powerful for them. But my wants, like, I mean, I have shit, you know what I'm saying? I have like pretty nice shit, but like nowadays I'm more minimalistic just because like I don't care. Like,
yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Like if I'm not sitting in a room with people who are achieving super high things, and going to go back to like the community question, but if I'm not sitting in a room with people doing like cool things, and like maybe like everyone's like wearing like, you know, I'm wearing like Supreme, and like everyone's wearing like Balenciaga and all that shit, but if we're like not really doing shit, that I don't give a fuck, because I feel like our actions aren't actually like leading us to where we're supposed to be going. So I'd rather like kind of be alone than to be around a bunch of people who aren't going to like primarily push me in a certain way, even when it just comes to the conversation of like where I want to like go, you know what I'm saying? So now like I'm pretty intentional with like my homies and my friend groups, and I don't have a lot of friends, and I'm cool with that. But when I do hang out with them, it's like magic. The conversations are great, you know, the energy's great. And if it's not that, like, I don't even fuck with it. Like, there's so many people that want to, like, you know, hang out with you probably, and like, you like hit you up, and you're just like, I'm sure it could be cool, but also, one, why take the risk? And two, like, you can read, especially once you are good in sales and good in business, you can read people pretty fucking fast, 100%. Faster than they're like aware of. Like I try to talk to people who aren't into like sales, and I'll be like, I can actually read someone fast. Like I can read people pretty fast. Usually it takes me like a couple hours. I'm like, no, I can read people in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
I can like tell like right away, like, am I going to enjoy your company or am I not going to enjoy your company? And then you can kind of play the charisma game of like entertaining it if it's not going to serve you in any certain way, or you can just like cut it off and be like, yeah, I get what this is, and I'm just going to like slowly like backstep my way out of this conversation, you know?
100%. And that's crazy because that you say that, and I keep saying it's crazy, but it's really not. I mean, that's how everybody should be. That's how everybody should think. But what's crazy about it is that people, I think, know this. I think deep down they know this stuff. Mm-hmm. I think, but one thing that I found is the greatest people in life and in business, they're not afraid to be alone, right? And isolation brings reflection. And I truly believe that if you can attribute everything that you've learned throughout your life right now and your entire mindset, a lot of it's going to come from the fact that you were isolated for a large amount of time and that you reflected a lot on yourself. You were able to really get to know who you truly are and what you truly validated yourself with. Mm-hmm. You don't need money to validate you when you're validating yourself with your word. When you're validating yourself with working out, when you're validating yourself with not taking back steps, when you're validating yourself with every action, thought, moving towards your vision. When you're doing stuff like that, you don't need validation from materialistic things. You don't need validation from people that have no value in any regard. Mm-hmm. And you don't need to be around those people. And you're not scared to be alone, man. You're powerful alone. And that's what's huge, because you become your environment. You become the top 5 people that you spend your time
Absolutely.
around. And most people that say they have a lot of friends, I'm sorry, buddy, but you don't have any friends. Like
No.
you could say you have a lot of friends. You might have 1 to like 3 friends that are solid people. Like go to prison and we'll see what your friends do for your mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we'll see what they do. So you're right, man. A lot of people don't have a lot of friends, and that's me, man. Like I don't have a lot of people other than the people like in the business. Like in the business is my family, pretty much. Like I left everything behind to come here to do this, and I know you did as well, man. Mentally and physically, you know, you moved to Chicago, but like you had to leave everything else behind, and you got to watch the new connections because the as you get older and as you get better and as your mindset gets better and as you get more popular and as you get more successful, there's going to be more people coming along to try to be there. And they're trying to take from you, man. It's just like the parasitic relationship.
It really
You either
is.
have a mutual relationship where you can both add value to each other, or you have a parasitic relationship and they take from you.
Man, that's so real. Man, one of the things I've realized recently is like outgrowing friends, like outgrowing people like from back home, right? And I've had a lot of like just significant instances within the past like couple months of like spending time with people I like grew up with in some shape or form or whatever, and I've noticed a change. Like I was going through so much shit this past year. It's one of those things where you wake up every morning and you have to like look yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm still me, but I feel different. I feel like I'm just like, I'm accepting the growth. Like the pain is happening, the lessons are happening, the good things, the bad things are happening, and I'm accepting it when it's happening in real time, and you're growing and you're changing and you feel your demeanor changing, you feel your energy changing, you feel people around you to see you differently. And then when you get those experiences with the people from your past, you see the change in like a dramatic way. And it's like fucking scary as fuck sometimes. Like I've been chilling with a couple homies and we would talk, and I'm just like, I don't enjoy being around you as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying? I see where I was, but I don't want to be where I was. You know what I'm saying? I want to keep going where I'm going, and so you have to like you have to distance yourself from certain people so you can achieve that growth. Not because you want to forget them, you know, and you want them to achieve success and growth in their own right, but you can't help everybody. You know what I'm saying? You can't pull everyone along. If they want it, they're gonna fucking get it the same way we had to get it, right? But you know, if you're getting it at your own pace, I feel like it's completely fine to just say like, I have to be selfish. I have to be selfish because my why is the reason that I'm fucking breathing right now. And if I don't achieve that, this little relationship, some people just come in your life just so you can learn the lessons. It could be a year, it could be 12 years, it could be whatever how long, but like sometimes you just need to learn some lessons, you need to do some shit, you need to develop a better character, and then the relationship served its purpose. And hopefully you guys both leave with mutual understanding of like, I enjoyed this person's time or whatever, but you know, I believe in like everything is fucking temporary, but I also believe that like, since it's temporary, that makes everything so much more like
valuable.
Way more valuable, bro. Like way more valuable.
You know, we wouldn't value life if God didn't limit the time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, and that's huge that you say that, man, because that's all it is. You said you see where you're at, and that's what's crazy. When you really start to go through growth in your life, mentally, physically, like emotionally, spirit, like, you know, I've been in the gym for probably the last year or 2 years in a row, right? And that's been my escape. Like, it's just like you raise your frequency. Like, if you work out in the morning, you raise your frequency through the whole day.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so for example, like, let's say, you know, I have a sweet tooth, right? Like, I love sugar, I love dessert, you know, I have a sweet tooth, right? So if I'm going throughout the day and I don't work out, or I work out in the afternoon, right? Then I'll realize that my frequency is going to be a lot lower. So when that dessert comes along, for me to eat that, I'm going to be more susceptible to it. And it's just the way that Mother Nature works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So your frequency, you have to raise your level of frequency. And you do that from, you know, going through adversity in the morning, doing something you don't want to do, is you got to act yourself into positive thinking and raising that frequency. So one huge thing about that is a lot of people, where they take their back steps is they got to go get themselves back out of the situations that they're in.
Yeah.
You don't even put yourself in that situation. And like, you can see yourself grow from, okay, this is what I used to be like. This is how I used to think. Look at where I'm at now. And it's crazy when you start to see that growth, because you become addicted to it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then from there, you're like, all right, listen, bro, I got to be more careful. I don't even want to put myself in those situations anymore.
You see how powerful like your own like thought is like, damn, like I've done all this, and like this was all me. You know what I'm saying? I was able to to do wherever it is or travel to where I've been to in life and like do so many things off of my thought, my potential. Like that's fucking like your energy is so like precious to you. Like when people say like, well, I don't want to go out, but I'm gonna still go out with them because this. I'm like, just what the fuck are you? What?
Yeah.
This is like you're telling me out loud you're gonna make a poor decision for yourself, but yeah, you're still gonna do it because it's like a poor decision. Like, I don't fucking understand that shit. Like even my cousin when he was on the podcast, shout out to Chris Holloway, man, House of Trade. But one of the things he would tell people all the time is like when I first moved out here, right, we would like go to clubs and shit like that. And I'm not like huge into clubs. I like bars, but I like cocktail bars. I like conversational drinks and shit like that. We go to clubs and I'll be like in the back, either on my phone or like talking to like a bottle girl, but like mad, just like casual conversation and more just like observing what's going on. Yeah. You know? And I guess that also could go back to the part of like the self-validation topic. Like I at one point in time for sure needed validation from people. I think we all do. We all kind of need to see how people view us so we can, you know, formalize like some sort of like persona for ourselves. But man, there was one pivotal point in 2020 where it was like a few months and like everything, like so many things were just like taken away. Like I had a nicer car, it got totaled, shorty T-boned me, completely 86th, and then like got laid off from work because of COVID. Me and my girl at the time broke up. There was just like so much shit. And I had like an injury in the gym, so I wasn't able to like work out and like everything.
It's the worst.
Dude, everything that gave me fucking confidence in my life like was like taken away. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to like sit and I'm like, well, look, I'm not going to kill myself. That's not an option. So I need to figure out how to fucking get through this. And I want to be stronger. And so I had to be like, look, why are you alive? Why do you give a fuck? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to be happy? And it's like, I like being me. I like the fact that I know that I will get through this. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do it, but I just know I will because I have to. I don't have an option not to.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. That's crazy, man, to do that, because that's the thing, like when you don't have those like confidence builders, like I know how it feels, because I know if I don't wake up and go to the gym, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I sound like this. You know what I mean? I felt like this and worse yesterday still, and my worst day is leg day. Hate legs, still hit leg day, you know, because I know the feeling after that you're going to get from it. But for that to be taken away, you know, a lot of times that's God testing you, man, to see, are you going to slip back to your vices? Are you going to go back to the old way of thinking? Are you going to slip back into your vices? And that's truly what it is. You know, your thoughts create your habits. Or your thoughts create your feelings create your habits, and your habits create your life.
Absolutely.
And to be able to go back, and it's kind of like I don't know if you ever read the book, The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Oh, that's my fucking book, bro.
Really?
I've
you
read
like that book?
So many times.
Yeah, our mentor, Simon Aries, he put us on, man, and he talks about the roots, right? So you have a tree, and you're growing the tree, and you have bad apples coming out, right? You're not going to try to rip the apples off the tree and fix them with the apple. You got to plant the tree in a different environment, or you got to fix the soil and the weather around. You got to fix the roots of the tree, and then that'll in return fix the fruit. So it's the same thing with your life. Fix the roots of your life. And we're gonna end with this. The last thing I wanted to ask you, man, if you were to die tomorrow, and all your content's deleted except for these next three things, what are three pieces of advice, three pieces of wisdom that you would give to anybody out there in the world? Like you could leave these three things behind that they would remember you for and nothing else. What would that be for you?
Man, I would say number one, and not in any specific order, but the first thing would be like live for yourself, and like take that however you want it to take, but like live for yourself. Like whatever it is that is going to make you happy, like do that, because you're only going to be able to share the type of energy to other people that you can like produce for yourself, right? Like you wouldn't get into a relationship because you're like, I need someone to make me happy. If you're not happy by yourself, don't get into a fucking relationship.
Yep.
You know, because no one, you're the only one that has power over you. You know what I'm saying? So I would say like, for sure, live for yourself. I would say also like, shit isn't that serious. Would be number two. Like most things are not that, pretty much everything is really not that serious.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things for sure that are pretty fucking serious, but most things are not that serious. Like there'll be so many things like when you're like 16, 17 going through it that you'll think like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. This is fucking, this is crazy. This is like the biggest thing ever. And then like you get through it and then you look back and you're like, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And if you can like understand that even when the shit happens in real time, that like it's gonna suck, but it's not that serious and it's going to be temporary, that's one of the things in Secrets of the Million Mind as well. It's like if you see yourself like a level 5 person and then a level like 7 problem happens, you're going to see it as fucking huge,
he
right?
Talks about the level,
Yeah, but if you're like a level 10 person and a level 7 thing happens, then you're like, okay, well, I'll just handle it how I've handled it in the past, you know? So it's like most things just aren't that serious. It's your perception of it and your grounding as like a person, you know? And then dude, man, I want to make, well, fuck it. The last thing I would say is, I guess what I've kind of been saying this whole time, just like fucking run into the fire. Like pain is fucking beautiful and there's a purpose we experience it. We're the only species that actually like experiences that if you think about it. Like there's no other species that like experiences pain and then can make a decision on how to grow from it. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to like animals, they might be in like a fight or some shit, but they're always going to put themselves back in the same position that got them fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if there's like a deer with like one eye and like a fucking like fucked up, like an antler, like part of like their like intestines hanging out or some shit, they're like, damn, that fucking sucked. And then they're going to go do the same shit that fucking, you know what I'm saying? But we're the only creatures that like will experience some fucking traumatic ass shit, pain, like physically painful, emotionally painful, spiritually painful, whatever it is. And we can then choose to use that as reasoning behind why we change the way we live, you know? And if you can do that more rapidly, like if you can wake up in the morning and go to the gym and like fucking like take a cold ass shower and fucking like do yoga, fucking stretch, like do a lot of shit that's like uncomfortable and just fucking probably sucks. If you can just do that and dive into it and understand that like, one, it's not that big of a deal, like the other point, but two, it like you feel better. Yeah. The pain fucking makes you like feel better. You know, like when I'm like going to the gym, I'll smoke before I go to the gym sometimes.
Yep.
And I'll be able to dive into these workouts like so like impossibly deep, like deeper than like I should be, you know what I'm saying? To the point where I'm like, I don't know if this is like pain from the pump or like I'm hurting myself, but like I'm going into this because I know, and it sucks right now. And I'm like, damn, I don't know if I'm gonna drop this weight or I'm gonna get this weight up. But then I think, and I'm like, look, in like 30 minutes, you're gonna feel completely fine. Yeah. You know, in like 30 fucking
feel
minutes.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
And so it's like, you might as well just like embrace the pain, dive into the pain, seek out adversity so you can just become a better, you can grow. We're creatures of adaptation, you know what I'm saying? The more we experience, the more we can like grow and maneuver and shit like that. And the high achievers, like Elon, he understands it, right? He's like, look, we're growing, the world's expanding, but we need to become like interplanetary, right? We need to do certain things to create longevity. And that's the same thing with your life. It's like to create longevity in your happiness life, in your business life, your love life, whatever it is, the more you can experience, the more you can embrace and accept, the better of the person you'll become at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%, man, 1,000%. And that's what I try to tell people, and that's what my mentors have always told me. Listen, before you try to pour into someone else's cup, make sure yours is filled first, right? And a lot of people don't make excuses. Oh, I'm not a gym person. If you have a beating heart, you're a gym person, buddy. You need to get up and hit the floor, do some push-ups or do some runs. Like, you have a beating human heart. Like, you need to work out, you know? But they just make excuses, and a lot of it is because people don't understand. Like, if people could really truly see the other side of pain, you know, the wall of fulfillment from the pain is a lot smaller than the wall of pain. The wall of pain might look larger, but if you could get to that other side and truly feel that fulfillment that you would receive from going through the pain, you would seek pain all day.
Absolutely.
You would be willing to go through all of it because of the fulfillment that you get at the end of it. And it's not something that you, and I always say this, there's levels of emotions and levels of energy and levels of frequency. You know, let's say at the bottom is just anger or you know, just ungrateful or whatever the case may be. And then at the top is gratitude. The top of emotions on earth is gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Gratitude is earned. Humans are inherently negative people. So if you have to earn that gratitude daily, and that's the reason you work out and take cold showers. Because I guarantee you, somebody that works out and takes cold showers, it's going to translate how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Absolutely.
You go into business and they're going to be able to take that same mindset of like, all right, pain, let me grow from it. They'll be smarter. So whenever their company stock drops $100 billion, they can say, all right, here's what we do, boom, and then they 10x. That's what Elon Musk did.
Yeah.
Went broke, sold PayPal, boom, look at him now. And that's because of the type of person he is. And that's what I want to finish on with you, is because I truly believe with your mindset, man, I'm very impressed by your mindset. If you guys are watching this, man, this is so much value in wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
Watch this 3 times. Watch this 4 times. But whatever you got to do, just think of what he's saying, memorize and just keep that in your head, what he's saying. And try to adapt that same mindset, because that mindset, regardless of what you do, will make you successful in any endeavor that you partake in. So very impressed with that, man. And I look forward to just seeing you grow and be successful, and definitely us networking, man. And that's pretty much it. Now, real quick, where can they find you, number one? And if they want to support, add value to your business, where can they do that as well?
Oh, for sure. On all social media platforms, pretty much. I'm not huge on Twitter, but mostly Instagram. But it's under Danny Tayz, DANNYTAYZ. You can follow me under that for pretty much anything. And then, honestly, to support me, I would say, like, fuck with the music. Like, my music is pretty fucking good, and it's just really just getting it out there. Everything else, like, even when it comes to business, I mean, if you want a website built for you, hey, hit me the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? I got you. But, like, fuck with the music, Fuck with the music and then spread the message. I want to leave some sort of an impact on this planet before I die, inevitably, right? And it could be from a physical form of actually building something, but even that is like, when the world explodes, like, what the fuck, it doesn't really matter. But, like, spread the mindset of just becoming a better person to other people around you, to yourself. Do that shit just so, like, we walk by each other one day on the street and we actually acknowledge each other, rather than just, like, looking straight, pretending like no one's fucking there. Like, we're not two people just out here trying to get it, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to support me, fuck with the music, be a good person, Danny Tayz.
Hell yeah, bro. I'm going to definitely be hitting you up personally, 1 for the website and number 2 for the music. Guys, real quick, Adversity Kings podcast. These are individuals that have been through a lot in their life, and they've taken the adversity and they've used it to become better. You're not the only person that's going through something hard in your life. Everybody goes through stuff in their life, some worse than others, you know what I mean? But how you respond to that adversity is what determines whether you're successful, not just financially, but at all areas, or you're not successful and you're a victim and you lose in life. So thank you guys for tuning in. My dog, Danny, I appreciate you for joining, bro. A lot of views. We're going to run this podcast up. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Share it with your friends, families on all social media. Let's run it. Adversity Kings with Tristan DeLavic. You guys have a blessed day.
Peace.